going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC reality check, and you don't see my pretty sexy face, so you know I'm not alone. We're traipsing back into WWE waters, aren't we, Jake?
So we weren't already recording when I committed and admitted to all of those said crimes. Never mind. Yeah, I mean,
you won't be getting hate crime charges. It's fine, and that's
nice.
as long as you remember the peanut butter, that's legal in some states.
Yeah. So you're Skippy, but I got you. Yeah, I went ahead and had a decent time watching AEW last night, surprisingly. So I hope SmackDown coming back with fans really does improve things.
And they're both in Texas.
So. Yes, so it's the same crowd essentially. Most of the same people that went to one are going to the other. A lot of the people I talked to are going to both. Some
Nice.
are actually going to, there's a few other shows happening independent-wise in the weekend. They're treating this as if it's a WrestleMania of sorts, like a mini WrestleMania. That's what Stephanie is calling it, because they're coming back to form and them going.
Well, SummerSlam is going to be the big WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's going to be the real mini WrestleMania. But absolutely, we're a pay-per-view weekend, and I came here to discuss all things Money in the Bank. I was there the last time we had it with fans, when Bayley cashed in, and we went nuts for her cash in. I still don't even know.
You mean
why.
you weren't there live for Money at the top of the ladder, at the top of the roof, at the top of the world?
When they throw people off and kill them, and
threw them off the roof so hard they ended up in other company. He's still got the weird eye thing.
I like it.
You know what? I can't even talk shit. AEW, like, for all I wave the black and gold flag, AEW, with the exception of Page and Omega, was a pretty fucking good show. I enjoyed a segment with Cody Rhodes in it.
Yeah, that was straight fire. And it wasn't like a stupid pull-apart brawl. This felt personal. Yeah, Cody
that was really good. Kudos to them for that. But I will say, and I know you guys shouted me out on your review the other night, so thank you for that.
Oh,
I do want to say, it happened on both shows. It happened on AEW and it happened on NXT. The big underdog, like, next big world champion guy pulled out really, really cheesy John Cena-esque promos. Kyle O'Reilly did it. Hangman Page did it. And I don't know. I got nothing.
I'm kind of speechless as well at this point.
Other than that, though, I know it nearly killed our friend Joe, but Darby going through the coffin after the coffin match was... Oh, that could have gone really bad.
That was something that could have gone extremely bad.
Fuck, man. That dude's going to be a champion. Like a champion real soon if those guys know what they're doing. Not as crazy as some people about Miro and the white strap. It has severe... Like... You can't take away the association of Cody Rhodes was the one that brought back the white Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, that stands out to me, surely.
But I can't, so now all of a sudden to do a belt change in Cody's company, we do the white strap thing. It's probably not true, but you can't shake that.
I know, I had that feeling I saw it. At first, when I saw it on Twitter, I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cool,
It's not that it's a bad... Let me be clear. It's not that it's a bad-looking belt.
No, it's gorgeous.
I do like the black strap on that belt better personally, but it's not a bad looking belt. It's come miles and miles.
I like the black strap better as well, but with the gold and green and all of that, so much prefer the white in this iteration.
Yeah, for sure. No, the one that Darby carried was good. I didn't particularly like the one that was on the red strap, the one that eventually got retired for Brody Lee. I mean, yeah. I understand the meaning behind it, and you can't.
Yeah, there's a great deal of significance, but I wasn't crazy about that either.
And I mean, before that, you had the not finished belt. Does me real good to know that the one that had to carry around the unfinished belt was Cody.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
Of all people.
But anyways, I started this off positive. I'm gonna leave it positive. Other than their next main title story, I really liked AEW. Great to see them.
I think you're one of the only ones not really enjoying that. I mean, Hangman Page was stiff, no doubt about it. And Kenny, I don't really care for the most part. But
well, you've heard me do my thing on Kenny before. Like, I think he's a great wrestler. I just don't understand. I just don't understand the god tier that some people put him on.
That's my thing. Once he became and he believed that he was this 7-star wrestler, he changed. Once Meltzer put out these
See,
7-star
for me
reviews,
personally,
it got to his head.
For me personally, it's nothing that he's done. It's very similar to the Young Bucks.
Oh, everyone around him, the audience surrounding.
It's the, oh my God, Kenny Omega came around and changed wrestling. No, he came along.
No wrong.
He came along and did wrestling really well.
Yeah.
Good for him. He's a very successful dude. He's a very successful dude because he's a very talented guy. But like, okay, what has he done that changed wrestling? What has he done?
How is that a 7-star match?
Right. But like, I hate when
that's
people.
What everyone says. He's a 7-star wrestler, and
yeah.
What differentiates him?
Right.
When he's doing the same stuff other people are doing.
I don't have a problem with that though. If you look at a match and you think that match is 7 stars, that's a magical number that you've written on a piece of paper. That doesn't bother me.
But the point is when he believed his own hype. I mean, that's
okay.
To me what changed it too. Because then once he bought into it, I feel like that's when the audience really changed.
And that's when the comparisons to Seth Rollins came around, and I wasn't as familiar with Kenny at the time. But I have a real problem with the phrase X person changed wrestling. Okay, what was wrestling before that it's not now?
There are several people that have changed wrestling, no doubt, throughout the history of it. And I mean, you go back to its carny roots.
Yes.
Absolutely. There are a lot of things that have been progressively changed over the years, and certain people did certain things. And
I would almost say that was more like this certain generation brought about this bit of change. This certain generation, like as much as I'm loath to give them credit, like the Young Bucks sort of mastered whatever we call this like sort of new age of tag team wrestling, where it's the absolute cocaine tag team match.
Getting YouTube segments to even further get in with their fans.
But how is that not riding the heels of Zack Ryder?
Oh, exactly.
And is anybody?
They're not exclusive.
I mean, everybody's gonna love Zack Ryder now because he's not in WWE. But is anybody putting Zack Ryder on a Kenny Omega tier? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Anyway, I hate that I know it's a weird thing for me to hype on, and I think I'm weird for hyping on it. But I hate that expression because I think it's so overused and so watered down now. And it's like, oh, AEW changed wrestling. Okay, well, they changed the 5 count to a 10 count in tag team wrestling because they don't follow the rules anyway. What else have they changed? Oh, they let their guys swear and they bleed every week. Like,
you haven't changed anything yet.
Yeah, you haven't changed what it is, and you don't need you just can go out and do something really well.
You don't need to change the business every time and reinvent the landscape. Yeah. They're obsessed with those phrases, though. The forbidden doors and reinventions and, all that nonsense. So, but alas,
as I say, coming around to it.
So. And one of my points in bringing up AEW is I think we're going to get the same result here. Last night, I was not excited for Fyter Fest at all. Night one, there was nothing that was happening that I was really like. Even the coffin match, I was like, oh, I've seen coffin matches. I've seen these guys fight a bunch. I loved every minute just about of last night. Besides the women's match, everything else to me was a hit. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I see why they got such a high rating. I'm happy for them.
Jake, you're not allowed to not like that match. One of the competitors is from Japan.
I know.
Have you not read from the Book of Sidgwick?
Joshi wrestlers from Japan,
Oh, my God.
Because that's what it is. They don't have any defining characteristics or stories or anything that makes them unique.
You know what I don't understand? And then I'm going to get off AEW because that's not the point of this episode.
No, that's what I'm getting into. Now we are going ahead and basically, I wasn't looking forward to anything that was coming about, and I had a great time. And I think that's the same deal here with Money in the Bank. I know once we go ahead and we get into the thick of it, and we get in these ladder matches, and we get the women's ladder match, and we go ahead and we have, the Roman Reigns Edge match, and I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to get into it.
We're going to have thoughts. Well, here's what I said.
But I think
here's what I said, and I said it
do as much as they can in front of these fans.
I said it to you, and I said it in that video that I did about is pro wrestling back or not or whatever. Impact and WWE have both done the smart thing. They've got relative stipulations that are easy wins for a first time live crowd, right? Impact is doing the Ultimate X at Slammiversary, which I'm going to do a separate video on, and WWE is doing Money in the Bank. Ultimate X and Money in the Bank are easy wins. It's hard to fuck up.
We might even get a cash in too with the Money in the Bank,
right?
There's that.
even if we don't though, like the Money in the Bank match, it's got about as much conversation around it as is the Royal Rumble. Now, if the first pay-per-view back with fans had been the Royal Rumble, it would have been a swoosh. It would have been an easy win, right? Because people even if they hate the company.
No doubt, because the Rumble always brings everyone back.
Yeah.
The Rumble and Mania, and they did this for Mania, but it wasn't full capacity. People were not vaccinated. Like there was a lot of
hesitancy around it.
Yeah, exactly.
And some very obvious piped-in crowd noise, especially for the first night main event. But we all know the motivations behind that, and we don't need to get into it. But Can you imagine, like, it was very, like, of all the things we saw in the Thunderdome, I'm sorry, the Royal Rumble was probably the weirdest.
It really was.
Can you imagine if the Royal Rumble had been the first show back with fans?
It should have been, and it was supposed to be. I know they had tried to make it so, but I still don't understand why it wasn't when AEW had the ability to do so.
Yeah, but they've got a rock skipping across the pond as far as the pay-per-views go, because you got Money in the Bank, and then it's going right into SummerSlam.
Yeah, which is going to be, as we said earlier, the WrestleMania of the summer. So, and they always say it's the biggest, but it is. This is what they're going for. This is their.
Like everybody, like people in WWE are even saying, like, yeah, scrap whatever you saw at the beginning or in April or whenever it was. Like, for all intents and purposes, this is our WrestleMania. We're gonna get 70-something thousand people in there.
Yeah.
And we will preview the fuck out of that when it comes. But like, look at some of the matches that they're speculating for that right now.
Oh, exactly. I mean, it's going to be Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, Edge and Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns and John Cena are both going to be there.
And John Cena and his
crazy.
John Cena and his hair.
And his hair, no doubt. But it's going to be a hell of a night, no matter what. Nostalgia driven too.
It'll be, considering the last time John Cena was making headlines, it'll be very interesting to see what his reaction is. When he was making all the political apologies for Fast 9. On a side note, for any of you out there that have been following my journey through the COVID era, I actually get to go to the movies on Friday. So you guys are going to see this live after SmackDown. I'm not going to be in the chat. I'll tell you that right now. You guys can talk in the chat. I'll come back and I will read it later. When this goes live, I'm not going to be in the chat this time. Sorry, guys. I'm going to see Black Widow. It is what it is.
You might regret that, but...
you know what? I don't care. I've seen enough Marvel on a small screen.
No doubt.
I really don't care.
It'll be worth you going to the movies, no doubt, but I think you might be disappointed with the movie, sadly.
Like, I mean, there's that...
I say that as someone who hasn't seen it yet, but has
heard things. Yeah, you
No,
mentioned
not
that.
even heard things. I've been given the full... My buddy went and gave me the entire if, ands, or buts of all of it.
That's fine. I'm really more interested in, like, the connective tissue. Like, what is it?
What is it going to lead to? And I think that might be what you're going to be upset about.
Okay, well, I've heard that it's going to lead to all-female Avengers, which can suck its own dick. But I don't want to know one way or the other. I don't want to know one way or the other.
There's only... I'll say one thing, and it's not even spoilerific in a way, but there's two men in the movie, and they're both essentially evil. Like, that's their focus in this.
Okay, that's like counting white people in Black Panther, though.
Well, yeah. That's
what's the line in Black Panther? Oh, look, you brought me another broken white boy. But I will say, like, there's the next Fast and the Furious movie. There's the next Purge movie, which looks awesome.
It does look good. Like, if you just take it as what it is, a popcorn flick,
Yeah, of course. Well, that's how I had to treat Spiral. I saw Spiral. It was good as a pop. It doesn't work as a Saw movie, but it works as a movie.
It works. Well, it doesn't even really work standalone. It was pretty.
I liked as a standalone. I liked it as trying to fit it into
just a movie. Yeah, but that was all the Saw tie-ins are what killed it. Had it just been its true own movie.
But the Saw tie-ins are what doesn't work for me. Like, as a movie on its own, it does. But like I say, you got the next Fast and Furious movie, you got the next Purge movie, you got the next Quiet Place, you've got the sequel to Escape Room.
Yeah, which I didn't even know that was coming out yet, so that was pretty surprising to see.
I mean, I'm sure for my friends out there that have kids, I'm sure there's some kids stuff out there too.
I know there is too, and Peter Rabbit too. The first one was great.
Have you seen the preview for the live-action Clifford the Big Red Dog?
I have not. I've heard it's scary.
Terrifying, but it's terrifying because they went super real. And super real is weird. Anyways, Speaking of weird things, I want to get this out of the way right away because I could not give a rat lizard fuck about this match, so I want to get it out of the way quickly. Raw Tag Team I'm jumping right in, I don't care. Raw Tag Team Champions AJ Styles and Omos versus the Viking Raiders. Jake, please give me a reason to care about this match.
I don't think we're going to find one, unfortunately. And worst of all, I imagine they're going to retain.
Yeah.
To get to SummerSlam, to get to basically the whole point of Riddle and Orton. I think that's the plan.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what they're doing though. I don't know if they're doing it at SummerSlam or they get a title shot, lose the title match, Randy snaps on him, and they fight each other at SummerSlam. Because
that might be it too. Because
I am interested in Randy Orton versus Riddle as a match. Because as a match, I'm intrigued.
Happen, but I think they might have them win the titles, then turn later.
All right, Jake. I'm gonna give you 4 names, and you tell me what they all have in common. Okay? AJ Styles, Tommaso Ciampa, Io Shirai, Jon Moxley.
Destiny.
No.
Damn, that's all right. I figured you were giving me
what they all have in common is why the fuck are they in the tag team division?
Oh, well, yeah, no doubt.
Ciampa is an interesting one. Io Shirai, okay, she just came back. She's not going to fit in the title picture right now. Jon Moxley and Kingston as a team I like, but obviously we want to see him with the title again. AJ Styles feels so weird in a tag team.
He really does, and especially with Omos. And like I said to Joe, I'm over the big guy thing. It really is not fun to watch. I mean, it feels like I'm back in 1994, 95-ish again. I haven't, at least the Big Show could move a bit more, or would take and do moves, but almost as boring as all hell. And Joe's
but
like,
but you know what though? There is a place for it though. Like all he's gonna, I used to say it all the time. Like too big.
I guess just not with AJ it would work for me. I think that's where I'm hindered by it. That's what's just killing it for me because AJ deserves or should be, and this is partly AJ's idea. This is what he wants. So
yeah. Well, he said he didn't want to be a world champion again because he didn't want that responsibility and that spotlight. I don't know whether that's still true. Here's my thing, though. Here's where you do something like... Because I don't dislike Omos. I like a monster that comes in short bursts and does his big monster spots and fucks off. That's fine.
Yeah.
If AJ Styles... And I would love to see this as a match. If AJ Styles started a feud with Apollo Crews... Their 2 respective bodyguards just getting into it on the outside and doing the intentional monster mash thing would be fine.
Oh, no doubt about it.
If we needed something, if Braun Strowman was still in the company, and I'm not taking a dig, and we wanted to keep him out of the title picture, and you want him to have like a monster mash feud with somebody like Omos, do like another version of Mark Henry and the Big Show, that's fine. Then it has its own weird place on the card. But like, I look at AJ Styles and I'm like, why are you not the Adam Cole of the main roster?
Yeah, and never mind. I mean,
I hate to make the comparisons like that, but it's true.
Braun should still be there too. I'm sorry, he should be.
I've seen so many AEW people.
Him a moron, but he should. I imagine he's AEW bound. I can't.
I've seen. But the funny thing about it is every time somebody leaves WWE and goes to AEW, like certain toxic fans, JD from New York, call it a big victory for AEW. I've seen so many AEW fans who are like, I'm going to stop watching AEW if they're stupid enough to hire Braun Strowman.
That's the thing. People don't want him, so it's a bit of a risk.
But they really wanted Zelina Vega.
They really did.
Did you see like JD's temper tantrum about Zelina Vega signing back with WWE?
I did not. I did not.
If you go to, I haven't seen him in a long ass time, but General Jerry had Wrestling Jesus on.
Oh.
And they did. I'll have to send it to you afterwards. Wrestling Jesus is back in the community too, which is fucking awesome. Shout out to Wrestling Jesus, even though he's probably never going to hear this. But the two of them.
About a flash from the past there.
Oh, the old school YWC drama is coming back. It's awesome. It's great. It's the good times. But the two of them, collectively, they took JD from New York's big rant about the Zelina Vega thing and broke it down like piece by piece by piece and just took the piss out of him. It's so. I thought I had sent it to you. I'm gonna have to send it to you at some point. It's fucking awesome. I'm so happy to see Zelina Vega in WWE, not as a manager. actually getting to do some shit. I'm really worried.
I wanted her to be with Andrade because of how well they work together, but I was like disappointed, but not shocked. They offered her a crap ton of money. Like this was inevitable. That's business. Like that's how it works.
I just find it so hilarious when people like get pissed off at WWE for firing people and then get pissed off at WWE for hiring them back.
Yeah. Well, I get it too, though, because it's like, well, then why let them go in the first place? But you don't know what plans change, what people have in mind, what they want to do, what they can do. So.
Or, hey, WWE doesn't listen to their fans. Well, the fans got outraged that she got fired, and they've gone back and changed it. So clearly they listened to something.
Yeah,
I'm not saying WWE is perfect. Don't get me wrong.
But...
WWE does a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah,
but
we know that. But
anyways, almost an
they
AJ.
They get away with a lot too. So
almost an AJ are retaining here for something maybe bigger later on down the line.
Which we're not even sure what that will be, if anything. But if they don't go with the Riddle Orton thing, then I don't know what or why. That's
if they do any crossover with NXT at Survivor Series like they did a couple years ago, these two. I don't know why this just popped into my head. These two specifically against Ciampa and Thatcher.
Oh yeah, it would be. I mean,
I'll be honest, mostly because I want to see Ciampa and AJ Styles, but then like Thatcher and Omos just like brawling it out.
But what if it was Riddle and AJ?
Riddle and AJ
as a tag team.
Ah.
I would enjoy that so much more. That's the thing. I just don't care for Omos with AJ.
Riddle. Hey Riddle. We got the belts.
I think he would still be a comedy act, but it would work. I think a little bit better than Orton. I think AJ would pull it off.
We got the belts. We're gonna put the belts in the bin. You're part of the AJ community. Okay.
Oh God.
Now we come to a match. And this is a prime example of why I'm so worried about my girl Shotzi on SmackDown. Look what they've done to Rhea Ripley on Raw.
I know.
Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte again.
And I think Charlotte might take the belt here. I know some people are like, what are you, great? But I have a weird gut feeling. I'll probably be wrong, admittedly. But for some reason, I'm going with this prediction. I'm staying with it.
Okay.
I'm saying that Charlotte Flair wins.
Okay.
And it's not going to be a clean victory. She'll cheat, she'll lie, she'll steal, whatever. We know. But it'll continue into SummerSlam, possibly with a triple threat with Becky Lynch, is my thought.
See, here's my thought, right? As much as I love Becky Lynch, right? I don't want to see her pop back into the scene and do what we get mad at everybody else for doing. I don't want her showing up on Monday and getting a title shot on Friday. I want there to be some comeback story. So
I don't disagree with you, but I don't think we're going to get that.
We're not going to get it, but here's what I would do, right? Because
I think they're just going to throw her right back in.
Because you can have her in a main spotlight area without having the belt involved, and here's how you do it, and here's how you rectify another mistake as well. Apparently, and I just saw this on Twitter before I came on here, so it could very well be wrong. Apparently, Nia Jax is taking time off.
I've heard that, and she was thanking the fans and whatnot, and I'm not.
You're not putting any stock in it just yet.
Yeah, kind of thing. So we'll see.
But here's the thing, though. If
it's possible, I just don't know.
If that's true, though, they're going to have to do something with Shayna Baszler. And if they want to revamp Shayna Baszler and get her into some sort of contention by SummerSlam, I would love to see a proper redo of Charlotte and Shayna Baszler. Now, what you do...
Well, I think their plan is to redo Becky and Shayna.
That's fine. And we can do that, too. What I would do here, though, is...
Well, at least that was one of the things being discussed.
Because you remember how overly cocky Becky was, like, right before she left and had the kid and whatnot. She was sort of doing that, like... She wasn't a heel, but she was getting cocky, and she was peacocking a little bit and wearing the crowns and stuff like that. So you can be a cocky asshole without being a heel. Let Charlotte get a heartbreaking victory on Sunday that's going to piss everybody off. She goes off and celebrates in Roddy Roddy Raw, and cocky-ass Becky Lynch comes in and not picks the bones, but just sort of like, while Rhea Ripley is still like pulling herself together in the ring, just like sort of walks out, gets her applause, soaks it all up and leaves and never pays any attention to the fact that Ripley was in the ring. Ripley, being all defensive because she's just lost her title, attacks her. You get a mini feud with Ripley and Lynch, which would be awesome, and you bring that as a third women's singles match to SummerSlam, and separately you've got potentially a technical classic with Flair and Baszler.
Yeah, I mean that would.
I don't think that's going to happen. Don't get me wrong.
I don't think so either, but that's a good way to at least get there.
But I mean, even still, like I know we're into like pile of people territory, but even if you bring in Baszler, have a 4-way. Baszler,
yeah.
What is it? Baszler and Lynch have unfinished stuff. Lynch and Charlotte have lots of history. Charlotte and Rhea Ripley have WrestleMania level history. Like it's not hard to connect the dots to make that work.
Well, that's what I think they were going for with the triple threat.
Yeah. I don't know.
Fatal 4-Way is good too.
Obviously, I want Ripley to retain here because Ripley's a badass, and I still like her, even though WWE itself is conspiring to like make me not like her so much.
Yeah.
But she's got to find her footing, and they've got to let her find her footing. Because I go back to that December 18th show where she beat Baszler for the title. Nobody, and I'm including the men's NXT champions, nobody has been as over as she was in that moment on that one night. We can have that on the main roster. They just have to let her do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, like that closes the loop as well for the Fatal 4-Way. Is her best moment in NXT was Baszler's potentially, you could say, worst moment. It seems pretty cut and dry. I'm going to go through the title matches before we get to the ladder matches because the ladder matches are more fun. It seems pretty cut and dry. Roman's beating Edge, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's not anything that's. I mean, come on. And that's a worry of mine. How many times can Edge lose? But come on, we know.
I was gonna say, like, of all the, like, you know, people complain about Brock, people complain about Goldberg, people will potentially complain about Cena. Of all the people that have come back, like, if Edge did pick up the title, and it wouldn't happen at a B pay-per-view, I get it. If Edge grabbed the title, would it be the worst thing in the world? Like, I'm not saying he should, and I'm not saying he will. But, like, if it drove already psychotic heel Roman Reigns even more psychotic, and it brought them to something, like, incredibly violent and diabolical at SummerSlam, where he got it back, I don't think letting Edge have a, holy shit, you came back after 10 years of injury, your WrestleMania got robbed from you, your WrestleMania this year got sort of robbed from you because it was still weird. Yeah. Like, this guy's got to have something. Like, he's got to get something eventually, and as you said, he can only lose so many times before it's like, okay, Edge is back to lose again, yay!
Yeah, exactly.
He's Dolph Ziggler with a Legends contract. That's terrible. Yeah. I'm a bad person, and I'm going to hell. There's so much going. I mean, I don't want to talk about Jimmy Uso's personal issues that went down with the alcohol and stuff, but it seems like it's made them sort of divert the story a little bit, because it looked like it was going to be like infighting within the family. And
it looked like it was going to be more, now they're just being agreeable, and come on, buddy, you got to get your shit together, was kind of like the theme of that.
It feels to me, and I haven't read this anywhere, it feels to me like they don't want to have him fighting with his family on camera while they're probably going out of their way to support him in real life.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
It might be the odd example of WWE actually just like seeing something and taking the nice route. Now that nice route is creating this like massive, intense heel faction, but it's nice. Like the moment that we're recording this before SmackDown this week. Last week, the last SmackDown in the Thunderdome, when they had their big group hug in the ring, you know, storyline wise, it was all the heels getting on the same page, but like, we know what it really was. Like, let's be real for a second. Even Heyman stepped himself completely out of frame and let the moment sort of happen. I mean, the match is going to be great. This is no disrespect to Daniel Bryan. This is the match that we should have gotten at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, it should have just been one-on-one, and they could have done this after, but.
Yeah, I mean, Bryan wanted to have a Mania match with Jay and put Jay over. which would
Yeah.
and instead, what did he do? He won the Andre Battle Royals, sort of, at WrestleMania SmackDown. He was in one of the WrestleMania matches that happened in front of nobody.
I know.
How depressing is that? Because we had WrestleMania SmackDown, WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, and then WrestleMania Backlash.
There needed not to be the SmackDown side of things, so...
Yeah. I understand them not wanting to have a kickoff because they wanted the first match to be the first match, but the second night could have had a kickoff.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I mean, we didn't get the women's battle royal at all, which sucks for them. But this I heard, potentially, the original name for this pay-per-view was WrestleMania Backlash in the Bank.
I did hear that as well, so you're onto something.
But they're not climbing to the roof, and it's good, and we don't have to see Brother Love in the bathroom. Like, baby fucking steps.
Baby steps indeed, bud.
As predictable as this is, I do think it's going sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Under anticipated, because I do think this is going to be, as much as most people are like, yeah, that's going to be a good match, I think it's going to be a better match than people are thinking of.
Well, I think it's going to be a damn good match. It's hard to get behind Edge. It feels like he's already doomed, and that's an unfortunate side effect of the booking. But at least the way he's been handled, just like the next match, Bobby Lashley, the WWE champion, against Kofi Kingston. Sorry, my voice is shot today, but
that's okay.
The
one thing I almost forgot about it. The one thing I did want to say, one thing sort of looming over this match as well is Roman's got all of his backup. He's got his boys with him. He's got Heyman with him to cheat for him and all that. But he's also got...
And they've also pissed everybody else off. The Edge has a vendetta with all three, so...
Edge has a vendetta against all three of them, but Edge also has to keep an eye on Seth Rollins.
Exactly.
Because they're pushing that for SummerSlam.
Cost him, and that keeps Roman from beating Edge clean. And now it sets up... Because Edge made his comment the other day. They already kind of started to set this up.
Yep.
I think that's a great idea. So, yeah, I'll steal that later.
I was going to say, I know people are going to accuse me of giving WWE free passes. I don't care what the story is. Tell me that Seth Rollins and Edge are fighting at SummerSlam. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. I really don't care about that one. I just want
it's one of those matches. I don't really care. They're going to have to fabricate a story, but I don't care what the story is. It would be like CM Punk shows up on Dynamite next week. And they say, well, we're going to give him a title match. Nobody's going to complain.
Yeah, no one's going to complain.
Nobody's going to come up with those typical WWE well, what did he do to deserve it, man? He's fucking CM Punk.
Exactly. And you're not wrong there. So
and I mean, worst comes to worst, if Edge and Rollins go at it and they can't get themselves under control, they've got two respective wives that I wouldn't fuck with.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's a mixed tag that I wouldn't actually mind.
Well, that's something I'm saying too, and that could be set up as well. So,
because I mean, Beth Phoenix versus Becky Lynch as a match would be good.
But think about that at SummerSlam, that mixed tag.
Seth Rollins eats the glam slam.
Glam slam, yeah.
Because of karma, I keep wanting to call it the implant buster, but that's not really okay, is it?
Jade, I forget what she calls it.
People are wondering how Becky had the baby so fast. I'm a terrible person that's going to hell. Anyways, Kofi Kingston and Bobby Lashley. I'm worried about this match.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match, but I don't know what they're setting up here. Some people think that it's going to be like a breakup of the New Day. I don't think that's the case here. I think it's just going to be Kofi gets beat, Lashley retains. That's it.
No, see, that's what I'm worried about. First show back with live crowds. I think they're going to want to give the crowd something surprising and something that's just like feel good for feel good's sake. And that's the New Day. And this is not me even digging Kofi Kingston like I was at his Mania moment or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm digging what Kofi and Xavier Woods are doing right now. I really am. But I think that's the wrong reason to give them
this. Yeah, because I'm not digging this. I'm not into this at all. And I want to be, because I do like these guys. I loved it when Kofi won at Mania. I was so elated and got swept up with the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I want to care, but
Mm-hmm.
I just can't.
Yeah,
Lashley has been pinned multiple times now, clean, which has been really, really weird. And then on top of it, there has been just this weird back and forth where, he's beat these guys and then he's been beaten by them, so you don't know who to take with what. And
his weird, I'm sorry, but I will say,
he's
like,
facing Goldberg at SummerSlam. That's the plan right now. If they don't get Brock Lesnar, then he's facing Goldberg.
And the last Raw of the Thunderdome era ended with his weird promo. I'm taking the clowns out of the circus. Okay, bud.
Yeah, which was terrible. Terrible. So that was even
See,
worse.
the thing about it is, and here's...
he had a good delivery up until the ending of that.
Exactly. I'm going to try to, sort of extend an olive branch. Bobby Lashley's never been a promo guy, really.
No, he hasn't.
He started off that promo so good, and then it just... he could have stopped, 10 seconds earlier, but the whole thing fell off the track.
Because what do you remember?
Because what do you remember? I'm taking the clowns out of the circus.
Yeah, it's always the last thing you hear, and all I hear is circus music, my friend.
You know what it reminds me of? Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? Money in the Bank. You know the thing. Laugh, you bastards.
Then we had...
And if you don't vote for me... Anyway, nope, not finishing that one.
Nope.
Anyway, but, and see, here's the thing, they've built it up for me as sort of the New Day combined, but more so Kofi Kingston, sort of they're not in the tag team title picture right now, and they've sort of had this, hey,
that's what I was going to say. Then we have MVP in all of this, and now they're kind of breaking up. So does MVP cost him the belt? I don't think they're going to do anything like that at this point in time, because the plan is Goldberg's coming back Monday in front of fans because Fox is getting Cena and others. Every time somebody gets one, they're going to get John Cena and then eventually The Rock. So USA is going to get Goldberg and Lesnar. That's their tentative plans now.
Here's the plan.
Just how it works.
Here's the plan. At some point, Kofi's going to go for the Trouble in Paradise. It's going to miss.
Okay.
He's going to take out the ref.
Yeah.
Goldberg's going to make his entrance, and the referee's not going to hear it because referees are dumb.
Well, he's unconscious from the Trouble in Paradise. He's got a friggin' concussion, Spaz. They're rushing him a Z-Pack as fast as they can.
Jesus Christ. You did the Z-Pack. But he's out, right? He's kayfabe out.
He's unconscious. He shit his pants in the middle of the ring.
Oh, my God.
Z-Pack and all.
He broke his ankle in his boot like friggin' Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
But while he's down, putting his ankle back together, scooping the shit out of his pants until his cue, Goldberg comes down, spears Bobby Lashley. Kofi Kingston becomes a smartass, takes the pin when he can, shakes the referee awake. Goldberg just cost Bobby Lashley the title, and that's why they're fighting at SummerSlam. Kofi Kingston goes on to, I don't know, fuck with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, see, I think they have this, that, I wouldn't want to see...
Hold on, I've got the ending bit right here.
Hit me.
Goldberg spears Lashley, costs him the title. Lashley takes off like a bat out of hell, running at half speed so that Goldberg can still run away from him. Kofi Kingston is celebrating in the ring with Xavier Woods, with his kids, da-da-da-da-da. He's waving the belt around, but he's waving the belt around kind of in Xavier Woods' face a little bit, not intentionally.
Yeah. Not to be a jerk, just excited. Yeah.
Xavier Woods kicks him in the dick.
Humping him kind of thing, and doing his New Day stuff, but where he humps the air, the giant.
When it's right and when it's wrong. Xavier Woods kicks him in the dick, and in front of his family, smacks him in the face with his own brand new belt.
As he gets up. Crying.
Xavier Woods versus Kofi Kingston at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
and because Adam Pearce has wide-stretching powers, this is a match that needs not just a referee, a big referee.
Big E, yeah, I know. You beat me to it. That's right, baby.
Nobody will like that because they're the team that's never going to break up. They're friends, and friendship is a real thing.
They have to break up every time, but guess what? This works.
Brothers fight.
Tried and true.
Look at friggin' Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. Look at me referencing AEW. Brothers fight. Brothers got a hug.
Goes.
And then it turns into a triple threat, and Big E gets pissed off and hits a double big ending on both of them and takes the belt for himself back to SmackDown. There's some story. And then he goes belt for belt with Roman before Roman destroys him and takes his belt. He takes 2 belts into WrestleMania next year with The Rock. The Rock rock bottoms him and walks back to Hollywood with both world titles. There you go. See, I've booked us all the way to WrestleMania next year.
You got us lock, stock, and 2 smoking cocks. We are ready to go, baby.
All right. So now let's backtrack a little bit. And what's funny is they haven't even updated the graphic on WWE.com, which is what I'm using because I'm lazy. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now,
I mean, we said this earlier. They just added Tamina for no reason. I'm jumping the gun here, but I have to because this makes me so belligerently angry because it was so unnecessary for them to rile up the universe in such a way. They know people have been speculating who is this last spot, what is going on here, who is this going to be. They saw WWE on Fox, and that kind of stuff, putting up questions and BT Sports and all of these possibilities. Who's it going to be? Everyone thinking maybe Becky Lynch, maybe is it Mandy Rose's old partner? I can't think of her name. Sonya Deville. Is it her wrestling return? Are we going to get all these things? And
Here's
then
the thing.
They're just like, oh, by the way, it's Tamina.
Here's the thing. I sent you the thing from BT Sport that I saw earlier today that I was going to use as a conversation piece.
Yeah.
Tonight, I want to go down this, right? When they added to me, let's talk about the participants first of all. The newly returned Zelina Vega, awesome. Asuka, awesome. Naomi, well, she's got a famous husband, fine, whatever. Alexa Bliss, awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Nikki Ash is a whole separate conversation. Liv Morgan, who has such a following right now, it's retarded.
Yeah.
And then you got the women's tag team champions, because why would you have them defend their titles at the pay-per-view? Now, the last person they added was Tamina, right? Look at the people that BT Sport was putting out as the possibilities, and tell me that any one of these wouldn't have made a better shot. Like, I'm not a huge Sasha...
I know. I agree with you tenfold.
I'm not a huge Sasha Banks fan, as we all know, but Sasha Banks is a possibility for most people.
She's a huge star.
Eva Marie, who boils everybody's piss, but she just came back.
Well, here's the thing. You put Dewdrop in the match.
Yes. Or I'm going to call her Piper Niven. I'm not calling her Dewdrop. Fuck that shit.
I'm saying you put her in the match, and then she wins, and Eva Marie takes the briefcase. That is nuclear heat.
Becky Lynch is an awesome return story. Obviously, they're going to do something with that at some point. Toni Storm, we know, is debuting on SmackDown soon. What a better way than to announce her on the Go Home show. Tegan Nox, you just took from NXT, and they're not getting a title shot at the pay-per-view, so why not? Sonya Deville
is just a solo competitor doing nothing. So.
Sonya Deville has been doing this authority figure role, but the rumor is she's coming back to live action. She could have used her authority to put herself in the match. My girl Shotzi, I'm heartbroken. I can't talk about it just yet.
Why would they not put Shotzi in a ladder match? Spaz.
The girl, I'll say it again. The girl
She's
that
willing
went
to kill herself.
The girl that went on Lillian Garcia's podcast and said, other than getting titles, it is my dream to go to WWE/NXT and bring hardcore wrestling to their women's division.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
and the last one is one that just became a singles competitor, and that's Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler could kill somebody in a ladder match, let's be real.
Yep.
Now, this is, like I say, this is not to cause offense or whatever to the people.
It's not a dig at Tamina, but they're already tag champions. So Tamina and Natalya, and I don't care for either one of them, honestly.
Right.
But neither one of them need to be in this match. They already have the women's tag titles. Those should be defended at this pay-per-view.
And here's my other unpopular opinion. Even if you take Natty and Tamina out, personally, I think Money in the Bank should be 6 people instead of 8.
Yeah,
that's just me.
I agree. 6 is like a sweet spot. Usually that magic number. That's what works.
So, like, if it was
8
just
is too much because then you get people having to do those sleep spots.
Right. If we just had Zelina, Asuka, Naomi, fine, whatever, Asuka, Nikki Ash, and Liv Morgan, I'd be fine. But they've dragged it out this long. They've basically told you without telling you that they're going to put the last competitor in on SmackDown and the live. Because here's the thing, I'm going to go back through the names again. I don't care. I'm getting repetitive now.
But why not save it till SmackDown? I don't even understand that. Why announce it on Twitter at all?
But here's the thing. Okay, because if they announce Tamina as the last competitor, SmackDown's the first
But couldn't they
SmackDown.
have done it in a way where like she was earning the spot, and that's why they didn't announce it? Like, oh, we have her taking on, even if it was a 30-second match, like let her earn it, and then she'd be the only one to earn it. But that was because it was the coveted last spot. And
But see, here's the thing: they were making it sound like the last announcement was going to be on SmackDown, right?
Yes, that's the big problem, and it was
First
somebody
SmackDown
huge.
First SmackDown with live crowds. Anyone. I'm going to go through the names again. I don't care if I'm getting repetitive. Becky Lynch, Piper Niven, Eva Marie, Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi Blackheart, Sonya Deville, Tegan Nox, Toni Storm. And I'm even giving Sasha Banks a little bit of credit here. That's how far I'm willing to go. Announce any of those names in front of the live SmackDown crowd, and you've got your pop for the night.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I know.
Now, out of these, who's going to win it?
Here's my thought. I want to go first because
go for it.
I genuinely don't have a good story for anybody here per se. Like I've done some fantasy booking in ways, but there's two people that I could honestly truly see, and maybe three.
Okay.
But I would say Alexa Bliss is one on the Raw side.
That'll boil so much piss.
I think that would piss a lot of people off, but I also think it would make a lot of people really, really happy. She's the top seller for Cameo still, the top seller of merchandise. Her Lily doll sold out instantly.
If she won the title, they'd give her like a Lily belt or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Think of all the merchandising they can do with her in the belt, and that she already has history with Shayna, so she could defend the belt against her in singles fashion. Like there's a lot of, I think, good possibilities there with that. Mm. I don't think it's all a bad thing, because I do like Alexa Bliss as a competitor. I'm not crazy with her being possessed, but I think there's ways that this could work and be fun still. So I'm caught between Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan. I could see them maybe deciding Zelina Vega, but you've
basically picked the same three that I was going to pick.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go first, honest to God, because I assumed you and I had been on the same logical page. Nikki Cross is now Nikki Ash. Should be Nikki Ass. I don't mean it as a dis. I'm not. It's not an insult.
I know, because of how the acronym works.
It doesn't make sense.
But, yeah, it's like the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. Remember that?
Yes. Even though that would be next year. Yeah, Nikki Cross. I'm sorry, Ash. You don't have a chance. You're not a superhero yet. Naomi. They're not. They don't have that drive for her. Even though she, certainly would love to. Same thing with Asuka. Natalya and Tamina are not going to win. They already have the women's tag titles, so it really only gives us those three. Liv has a lot of fan support. I could see that being good. But do they want to give it to a face and then usually they split it, one face, one heel. So if they give it to Alexa Bliss, she's a face but also kind of a heel. It's weird. I don't know how they would handle that. So that leaves us kind of ambiguous on the men's side. If we do it with Liv Morgan, it'd likely be heel on the men's side. Mm-hmm. So it makes you wonder. But we have two heel champions. Doesn't kind of add up. We would kind of need a face on that side. So
right. And the other thing, and I'm going to drop
this. That's why I would take the belt off of Bobby Lashley, like you said. Give it to Kofi Kingston. Do that story against Xavier Woods for people at SummerSlam, and Bobby Lashley taking on Goldberg, Battle of the Spear. Like that would be huge. They could do so much with that. I think would be at least more exciting. The problem is Vince sees more sales, I guess, or more of an advertisement in Goldberg versus Lashley for the title than not. Even though
which is really unfortunate because for a certain there's a certain group I'm not an MMA person. Obviously, I'm aware of who's come from MMA and who hasn't. Obviously, I checked out CM Punk's first MMA match purely out of curiosity. But, there's an audience out there, and it's been going on for a long time. There's an audience out there that wants Lesnar versus Lashley, right? That doesn't need a belt.
It doesn't. Battle of the Spear, there's a lot they can do with that.
They're an attraction. They're at that Undertaker level in the sense that they are an attraction without the title. It's not necessary.
But the reason I brought us back from the women's matches is to showcase how you have Bianca Belair, and then you have right now Rhea Ripley. So Rhea's kind of a heel, but a face. It's weird. You can't go by the Thunderdome because they cheer and boo her at the same time. So we don't know what. and she does heal, but those things...
Jake, I just thought of something. It's going to piss everybody off. It's going to piss everybody off. Bianca Belair is obviously going to retain. You guys are all listening to this after SmackDown, but I'm assuming Bianca Belair has retained.
The point is that maybe a returning Toni Storm interferes and saves the title.
I'm going to piss off people more. She's going to retain on SmackDown, but I'm sure she's still going to be at Money in the Bank in some description, even if it's just to like come out and brag for 30 seconds or cut a promo on Bayley because Bayley's injured or whatever.
People are thinking that Bayley's going to surprise people saying she's not actually injured and it was just a heel tactic.
No, I'm thinking
as I would like to see her not be hurt, I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think they would have.
Because she was on TV immediately and in a brace, people are like, oh, she's fine.
I don't think they would have flushed a pay-per-view match like that for an angle. Here's my thing, though.
I wouldn't think so either. But
here's my thing that's going to boil all the piss, right? Because they haven't said this year, because they've done it both ways, whether you can cash in on any title or whether it has to be the championship on your brand.
Yeah.
So, you give it to Spooky Alexa Bliss, right?
Yeah. And
Bianca Belair comes out.
I think you can choose which one you want to face.
Bianca Belair comes out later in the night to brag about beating Carmella, because that's something apparently. Alexa Bliss comes down with the briefcase, hypnotizes her, makes her lie down, and stands.
And finally does what everybody wants.
And stands on her.
Now that I would sign up for, because not only would it irate everyone and just totally piss people off, but that would be funny. But it would.
I'm an asshole. It's fine.
Because how many times have we said, why hasn't she just hypnotized her opponent? Well, if she's the Money in the Bank
AJ
holder, I was going for it.
No, but it would be. But it would be offensive because it's Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair is supposed to be untouchable.
Well, that's the even, and then it's like an ultimate squash, so you can still have a match between these two because she was hypnotized, so she gets an out. You know, it's not a.
And then she teleports. She teleports out of the ring with the belt and shows up with the SmackDown title on Raw for the first Raw with fans.
Hey, that would be something, but she obviously.
And then she lights the ring on fire. And tosses the belt in the fire, and then there's only one.
If the timeline worked a bit better, it'd be great. But yeah, that would be fun as hell. But
honestly, Matt, for the feel-good moment of it, and because she is developing such a following right now, I'm gonna forego my own biases because I really want Alexa Bliss to win and piss everybody off. I really do hope they give it to Liv Morgan.
I hope they give it to her, but I'm gonna predict Alexa Bliss. So while you go that way, I'm gonna go this way.
Because I would love to see them put it on Liv Morgan. And I know she'd die, and I know it would be a failed cash-in, and normally that's bad, but whatever. I want to see her get up the self-confidence and whatever to stand nose-to-nose with champion Rhea Ripley.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see that, because I think WWE likes that she has a following, but I still don't feel like they believe in her. If you catch my drift.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Here's the thing, though. Think back to WrestleMania.
But I don't think they think they're going to view her as a champion.
Think back to the terrible gauntlet match that they did at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That nobody gave a shit about.
Yeah.
And of all people, Tamina got the reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Tamina got the huge pop and whatever, right? If Liv Morgan goes out there...
And they didn't even win. They should have called an audible and let them win the titles that night.
It's true. That's absolutely true. And you know what, though? Even though Natty and Tamina, as a team, aren't for me, I'm still happy for them that they got a chance to hold the titles.
Oh, I am too, but they should have had their WrestleMania moment. As soon as the crowd reacted in such a way behind Tamina, they should have called it and said, all right, switch the finish. And,
you know what would be really hilarious?
Because there were so many heel moments that entire night.
Yeah. You know what would be hilarious, though, is if they didn't book this match at all. If they just said, okay, ladies, you guys are going to call it on the fly, but we're not telling you the winner yet. And then on the night, they gauge the fan response during each entrance, and whoever gets the loudest cheers legitimately gets to win the match.
Yeah, tell the ref as it's going on.
Yeah.
Book everything up into the finish, and then tell them to finish on the fly.
And then Liv Morgan gets a huge pop because she's got this huge groundswell of support, so she gets to find out in the match that she's winning the match.
Yeah,
That would be
I'm more intrigued by the women's briefcase side of things because of Liv and Alexa. Honestly, because I think it does come down to those two, and hopefully we get some actual good wrestling from Alexa Bliss, not just all of the spooky la la nonsense.
Well, we do have a little bit of an indicator about that, because remember in the Royal Rumble she tried to like flicker the lights and get all spooky, and Rhea Ripley was just like, go fuck yourself, and chucked her out of the ring.
Beat the hell out of her, and just threw her over. So no
or
doubt, but...
or I do like, if they are going to do something cheesy, I want them to have like some exaggerated, like I said this in another video, but like almost Marvel-esque, like superhero supervillain thing with her and Nikki at some point while everybody else is taking their nap on the outside, because that happens anyway. Yeah. I think they could, as long as they don't over-egg it, I think they could do something fun with that.
Yeah, I agree. And then last but not least, we're back to the men's Money in the Bank match. We've got Riddle, Drew, Ricochet, Morrison, Big E, Owens, Nakamura, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. So
okay, let's talk about. Okay, we got to talk about the Shinsuke thing for just a minute.
Yeah.
Because the team. No, I'm saying this with a huge smile on my face.
How could he be the face in any of this?
Shinsuke?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thunderdome is cheering him, so the producers haven't booked as the face, but he stole his crown.
Yep.
And then proceeded to bully him for the rest of the time. Like, what?
Because if you bully a bad guy, that makes you a good guy. But I will say it. I'm just talking about presentation for a second here.
Yeah.
The pairing of Shinsuke Nakamura as the King and Rick Boogs, like being his hype man, is the most extra thing WWE has done in a while.
Oh yeah, especially with Pat, joining in and rocking out, and like it was funny as hell last.
Pat McAfee teabagging Michael Cole is something I never need to see in my life.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious, but
it was good. It was good. But here's the thing, though. It doesn't quite make sense.
In the couch, and it doesn't, but
it doesn't quite make sense. But there's a little bit of me, and yes, I've been burned so many times that like I don't have fingertips anymore. It does feel like it's leading to something really interesting for Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And when was the last time we could say anything even close to that without laughing? Because he's sort of half-ass pulling it off, like this guy that's hit bottom and coming back around. And
yeah, he's doing well. He looks like hell. His hair is all...
And didn't you know, when you're poor, you don't get music anymore.
I know, and it was just like, but it made it feel like even more depressing, and he's going to have this happy Corbin gimmick, so I wonder, is he going to get put on meds? Are they going to have him go to therapy? Like, no,
if they try to tackle, okay, like him being down on his luck is a cool story if they want to play it off that way. If they go that far and like try to act, like WWE's not subtle, let's be honest. But if they try to tackle issues like depression or medication, or I mean, we see how well they handle the topic of alcohol with Jeff Hardy and like the jar of piss.
Like I said, it won't be good. It'll be insulting. But just like my pick for the men's Money in the Bank is Riddle. Drew is going to be busy with Jinder just because they just made that motorcycle toy, obviously.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. I mean, that's what it comes down to, sadly. So with all of that aside, here we are. Bullshit. That's what's happening. Ricochet, they don't have faith in. Same thing with Morrison. They're in there just to flippy dippy dive. Big E's your false hope pick.
Here's my thing though, right? Here's my thing though, right? Every person in this match has a rivalry that's going on currently, right? The only two in this match who have rivalries with the other one in the match is Ricochet and Morrison, right? Yes. Now, if I'm just looking at the graphic for a second, and I'm probably going to talk in a circle, so everybody listening, you're going to have to excuse me, right? Kevin Owens has a never-ending story with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn should have been in this match, I personally think, but whatever. Yeah, Drew McIntyre has this thing going on with Jinder and bike and sword stuff.
Drew was initially supposed to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and now that's not happening. Okay. So.
Okay, no, but I'm just saying, as far as like the external elements.
Oh no, I know, but
Owens has Zayn.
Having a gender thing, so like you said, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
Owens has Zayn. McIntyre has Jinder. McIntyre, like the years and years and years later exploding of 3MB with one of them not there is going to happen at SummerSlam.
Yeah, they won't even. They just say, all the history. They won't touch upon things.
Riddle, whether it's good or bad, has stuff going on with Randy Orton. Seth Rollins, either at this show or after this show, is going to have issues with Edge. Shinsuke Nakamura has, issues with, Sad Corbin. And every now and then, Big E still has issues with Apollo.
Yeah.
So, I want to... Here's something that I want to sort of throw out to you, right? Because, for this to work, you have to acknowledge that Randy Orton could have been in this match and isn't, right? So, Ricochet gets out there. Morrison gets out there. Big E's making his entrance. He gets taken out by Apollo and Aziz. Nakamura makes his entrance. He gets taken out by Sad Corbin. Seth Rollins. Okay, we've at least got 3 guys in the match now. Spear! And then you get him retaliating later on in the night. Riddle comes out. He's accompanied by Randy Orton because his buddy's there to support him. And just before he gets to the ring, RKO out of nowhere, like on the handlebars of his scooter or something like that.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre comes out, and he's run down on a scooter he's run down on a motorcycle by Jinder Mahal, who's got himself another sword. So he doesn't have a head anymore. That's sad.
Oh no, decapitation.
Kevin Owens is about to get in the ring, sees Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn's camera crew in the crowd, and goes and chases them because they're like the Joker and Batman. They're going to fight forever.
Yep.
Focus goes back to the ring, and there's just 2 guys in there. And you have Ricochet and John Morrison one-on-one in a ladder match for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, WWE does not have the balls to do something like that, but I wish they did.
And now they hit each other with a terrific, set of moves, and the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome!" And the
Miz rolls down with his wheelchair.
Brock Lesnar returns and wins the Money in the Bank again because life is awful, and WWE is obsessed with.
And you can't have nice things.
Exactly. No, I think.
Oh my God! Brock Lesnar comes back, wins the championship.
I could see that happening too, as you know. But
no, he gets the briefcase again.
Yeah, I mean, you know how they are with these
Goldberg
things.
comes back, attacks Bobby Lashley. We get Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg at SummerSlam for the belt, and Lashley cashes in on the winner. Survivor Series. Because there's a history of it happening at Survivor Series. We get Lesnar versus Goldberg again for the title.
We're supposed to get that at SummerSlam anyways, and if that doesn't happen, then we'll get Goldberg versus Lashley. Oh my
God! I'm sorry. I'm going with pretty no chance in hell choices for both Money in the Banks because I said Liv Morgan.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Riddle because Riddle said the other night, if I win, I'm going to cash it in.
And get tag title shots.
Tag title shot. And Vince wanted to do that last year. He was excited to do that last year with Otis and Heavy Machinery, and he had plans for them to do a big thing with the cash-in. And then Mandy Rose got involved. Vince became focused with that, and then he had Tucky and Otis split up because he only focused on Otis. And then Tucky got fired and went back to being Levi Knight. So
nice.
But
I'm going to say something, knowing that it's not going to happen. Knowing that it's wrong, knowing that I'm an idiot, okay? I'm picking Ricochet.
Hey, I don't think you're an idiot for picking Ricochet because he's still in the match. He's still being used. He's been a factor on TV doing big spots. WWE likes him. I don't know if they like him to the point where they want to give him this much of a push, but I could see them doing it and then him be the one to not successfully cash in. Unfortunately, maybe that would suck even more, but I could see them do that kind of nonsense too.
And there's a nostalgia part of me that would love to see John Morrison get a world title run, but I don't think it's ever. I think the 2 of them, I made the joke about them being the only ones in the match because logic takes out the other 6 guys, but these 2 are going to conspire to do something in this match that's going to be memorable.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Kofi Kingston's got a world title match, but if you swapped out Big E for Kofi Kingston in this match, you've got 3 guys that are probably the best at making the Royal Rumble moments, the saves and whatnot.
Yeah, the OMG.
the spider
was
walk
awesome.
across the guardrail,
Holy
or
shit,
stepping
yeah.
on pancakes, or riding a chair, or
Oh
something
yeah, no
like that.
doubt. So I agree with you there. So I
And
mean,
they've done some pretty eye-catching stuff in the Thunderdome with no crowd.
yeah,
Get the adrenaline of a crowd in
absolutely.
these competitive
Ricochet,
guys.
too.
I would have.
So,
I like Kevin Owens and I like Big E, but swap
yeah.
those two out for Kofi Kingston and Sami Zayn, and this becomes a much more interesting match, in my opinion, just from
No,
the
I
high flyer
agree.
point
Or
of view.
just cut them both and keep it 6-man, like we said earlier too. So
That's true too. But I
either
mean,
which way,
specifically because I think Sami Zayn and Kofi Kingston would contribute to the element that I'm talking about.
yeah.
Drew in this is weird too. I
No,
gotta
no
say.
kidding, especially because he's been with this other feud, and it feels pointless for him to be involved here.
It's an 8-man match that could potentially have 16 people involved.
Basically, yeah. So
Do you remember that one?
Unfortunately, I don't know how exciting it's going to be, but hopefully they just. I hope they give us something worthwhile out of it. I really just want, no matter what the outcome is, I just hope it's fun.
Do you remember that match at WrestleMania a couple years ago, the Team Johnny versus Team Teddy, like the Raw versus SmackDown thing? And it was marketed as
His name?
sorry,
Zack Ryder. He got the
kicked in the nuts.
Yeah.
But like it was marketed as this big 10-person match, but it was more like 15 when you included all the people on the outside, because like Hornswoggle was SmackDown's mascot, and you had Eva Marie on the outside, and you had, or not Eva Marie, but Eva Mendes.
Mendes, yeah.
You had like
Eve
Teddy
Torres?
out there, you had Johnny out
Eve
there,
Torres.
Eve Torres,
That's what it was.
Vicky Guerrero out there as well. But it was like a 10-person match with really 15 people in it. You could, with all the different, because surprisingly for WWE that doesn't do stories, here's a match full of people that all kind of have stories. Now that invites chaos. And I'm with the first crowd back. I wouldn't be surprised if this was actually the main event. With the first full crowd back for a pay-per-view, I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to end the night on chaos. And I'm kind of down for
They're
that.
either going to go for chaos, or if they go with the women's last, then I think they're going to have that Liv Morgan moment.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see them wanting to end with something big like that. So
I can also see with all the returns involved, one of these matches is going to have somebody taken out and have a surprise person put in. Like,
no doubt.
Take out Tamina, and here's Becky Lynch, like something
Yeah.
like that. Hey, how did she win the Royal Rumble?
No, that's
Because
true.
Lana had a cast on.
Yeah.
Hey, hashtag LTST. It's long-term storytelling from WWE's point of view.
Right. There's no tables involved.
Anyways,
well, also, unfortunately, I got to make my way out.
You got to make your way out. You got to go do Joe stuff. Go check out Joe Cronin Show with Jake DeMarco. They're doing Out of Nowhere. It's on Patreon now, so you can tell them where to find that.
Yeah, it's patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show on the $2 tier. You can go ahead and sign up there for a price of a cup of coffee. You go ahead and get Out of Nowhere plus at least 15 hours minimum of extra content a month. So go ahead and check that out. Or you can find me on Twitter at CountdownEnded. And thank you so much for having me on again, Spaz.
So what you're saying is for the price of a cup of coffee, you can get a cup of Joe.
Yeah, I'll have to remember that. I'm
Nice.
stealing it.
And you guys know where to find me or you wouldn't be here. I've been Spaz, he's been Jake. We are your WWE, this time, reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, me and this sexy bitch are tagging out. Bye, guys.